As Halloween approaches, ghosts, goblins, and ghouls rise to haunt the night, and so too do the classic movie monsters. Last winter we got another remake of Nosferatu, which wasn't bad, and a new version of The Wolfman, which nobody saw. By the time you're watching this, a new Frankenstein movie will be out. It's directed by Guillermo del Toro, and I'm interested to see what he'll do with the story. After screen adaptations dating back nearly a century, with varying depictions of Victor Frankenstein and his inhuman creation, sometimes you almost forget the book they're all based upon. Even though she wrote it almost 200 years ago, Frankenstein by Mary Shelley remains an enduring classic of horror and science fiction. Even so, many elements we think of as integral to the story didn't originate there. No hunchback assistant, no bolt of lightning, no burning windmill. Colin Clive's legendary pronouncement in the original film? It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! Yeah, that's not in the book at all. There's only a brief scene describing the creature coming to life, with no explanation of how Dr. Frankenstein accomplished it. So, has anyone ever faithfully adapted the novel? I don't know, but maybe the game called Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is a good bet. Fortunately, electricity will bring this little bastard to life. I've always wondered whether someone totally ignorant of the author ever picked this up and thought Mary Shelley was the name of a game designer, like American McGee's Alice. You play as the creature, tracking down Victor Frankenstein for answers about your existence. While the story explores themes of identity, abandonment, and what it means to be human, the gameplay is primarily about clobbering the shit out of people with your stick. It's surprisingly difficult to kill anything without taking damage yourself. Look at this. He can hit me, but I can't hit him. Bullshit. You can shoot lightning, but it drains your life bar, so that sucks too. The instructions say there's a way to blast lightning in all directions, but I never figured it out. Experiment with the controls? Why don't you just tell me the controls? The first level is all about escaping the pissed off villagers of Ingolstadt. You'll find these rope handles, and it's not immediately clear what they do, but you'll need to pull them to get platforms moving and open new pathways. It took me an embarrassingly long time to notice one of the ropes hidden behind this broken window. Eventually you enter the town gates sequence, which throws waves of enemies at you in lieu of a true boss battle. This is where the game reveals that it has no fucking mercy. The jump is delayed, my attack is ineffective, and I'm absorbing damage from all sides. I have no way to hit these dogs, and if I jump down, they don't move until I'm within ass-chomping range. This is the first level. Am I missing something? In fact, yes I am. Throughout the level are item boxes. The game never tells you what you picked up, but if you press select, you can see your inventory. Books teach you how to combine items, and with all the necessary parts, you can craft something useful, like this block and tackle. Find the right place to use it, and it opens an alternate exit from the level. This is pretty unique for a Super Nintendo platformer. You can either brute force it and get through much of the game without ever opening the inventory screen, or you can focus on item hunting and avoid boss fights by using your brain. You begin level 2's maze-like crypt in darkness. Ignite your staff to throw some light on the switch puzzles, which consist of pushing these stone blocks into slots. Every horror-adjacent game demands a level where you fight bats and rats, but these rats are no joke. They're 3 feet long, run on ceilings, and lunge at you like tigers. I've got no shot with such a slow character. I'm missing a piece of the skeleton key which gets you out of this level, so now I've got to beat a giant spider. My torch burned out too. Great. Since I'm getting hurt anyway, it's worth converting some life into projectile attacks here.
To overcome the spider's curse, simply quote a Bible verse. Thou shalt not go.
So now I'm reading textbooks and firing Hadoukens at spiders. Wasn't this supposed to be about a movie? Well, before I tell you about that movie, let me tell you about another movie. Dracula. It got a big budget film treatment in 1992 thanks to Francis Ford Coppola. Screenwriter James Hart included nearly everything that happens in Bram Stoker's novel, but added even more to the plot, making the character of Dracula a tragic figure rather than simply a predatory ghoul. It's not really scary, but it is a stylish version of the story, and it made a bunch of money. So, a couple years later, let's do the same thing with Frankenstein, why not? Coppola produced, but didn't direct Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, so what you get is a film which shares many of the same traits as its predecessor, but wasn't as successful artistically or commercially. Robert De Niro isn't bad as the creature, he's just distractingly recognizable. That's no monster, that's the guy from Meet the Fockers.
Look at me, huh? I am the Frankenstein monster. I have bolts in my neck. I'm electric and scary. Ooh.
Kenneth Branagh directed and stars in the picture, which is presumably why there's so many shots of him brooding and tormented and shirtless. In this version, Dr. Frankenstein constructs a giant mechanical nutsack which pumps electric eels into the birth chamber. It sounds gross, and it is, but the most thrilling parts of the movie are the stuff they made up, so I'm not going to whine about them not following the book. Now I want to see whether the game follows the movie. Well, yes and no. Cutscenes are presented between levels, and they go on for a long time, like this one is a full 2 minutes. Without that context, you'd never know you're limping around this game world teeing off on rats, all because a mad scientist decided to play God. Incidentally, if you want to play God yourself, the game's password system offers everything from level skips to extra lives.
What you are suggesting is not only illegal, it is immoral.
Calm down, Ebenezer Scrooge, I'm not going to cheat. Enter this password, then go into the top left door at the beginning of the game. A big goofy dinosaur is just hanging out. It doesn't do anything. The password also makes a shark fin appear here in level 3, but all it does is damage you. Who added this code and why? Probably the same designer who obscured the entire level with bong smoke. The forest is littered with hazards, namely these bear traps all over the ground and toxic plants. Bam! Killed by a flower. Such an obstacle is a clue that I need to be looking for a helpful book. Ah, knowledge of herbal cures, that's the ticket. After you've collected and combined the components, you still have to press X to use the medicine. And there's no sound cue or anything. X actually closes the menu, so there's no indication you've used the item, except that the purple plants no longer harm you. You technically only ever have one life in this game, but if you grab potions, they'll partially refill you when you hit 0 health. Enemies never drop anything, and the hearts you scrounge aren't worth shit. You know what would really hit the spot? A bolt of lightning.
What did you say? A bolt of lightning. Unfortunately, you never know when or where it's ever going to strike.
If you can find the highest point in the level, you'll take a rejuvenating 1.21 gigawatts to the dome. Getting powered up via lightning strike? That's from the 4th movie, Ghost of Frankenstein. At least someone did their homework on the movie franchise. Potions and lightning are critical if you want to beat this game. An added benefit in level 3 is that the lightning ignites these leaf piles, granting you access to your flamin' hot staff. This giant slug weathers a lot of hits, but it's the easiest boss so far. There's a light on over at the Frankenstein place, so let's crash the party. This is an atypically straightforward stage because you proceed left to right and there are no items to collect. Victor's house, like all Georgian mansions, is a series of cavernous rooms full of booby traps. Falling platforms, gotta have those, pit traps, the only insta-kill I've seen in the game, and false steps that'll make you repeat the entire room. The boss fight is against both Elizabeth and Victor. I don't blame them for being mad because it is their wedding night, and before I barged in, they were about to clap Frankencheeks.
That is rubbish, and you know it.
Don't bother attacking them. Instead, smash all the chemical beakers in the lab. In the Sega CD version, which is a totally different game by the way, you have to take Helena Bonham Carter out Street Fighter style. Want to talk about not following the book? How about a scene where Elizabeth gets fucking juggled in a corner? Either way, she's dead, no one is happy about it, and the final showdown will take place in the Arctic. Now that I'm approaching the end of the game, I think I understand what the designers were going for. They went 70% of the way towards making this a Prince of Persia style cinematic platformer, but didn't fully commit to that style of gameplay. The combat is intentionally more timing based and precise. That's fine. But when I press the button, I just need the attack to trigger. I don't need a sumptuous 48 frame animation of me winding up and swinging. This polar bear looks threatening, but after a few hits he stops attacking. Either I've won his respect, or he's bugged. Never can tell with this game. This wolf boss is odd too, because he won't become vulnerable unless you smack the little wolves while they're jumping. Plan B is building a raft and skipping the fight. I've tracked Victor Frankenstein to the icebound ship which shelters him. I need to find a way to make fire, which means awkwardly traversing the rigging while icicles and seagulls have their way with me. Every time I start to think the game isn't that bad, like I'm adapting to its quirks, I'm snapped back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity, because the jump sucks and I'm monster mashing all over the place. Get the fire, use it to blast open the hatch, then explore the interior of the ship, which is another maze. I stumbled into this fight against the first mate without realizing he's the final boss. He doesn't even have a name, he's just some guy. We've never seen each other before, so it's not like there's a narrative reason for us to fight to the death. It is notable that he's bigger than the creature when I'm supposed to be 8 feet tall myself. After he bites the dust, there's a cutscene where the creature mourns Dr. Frankenstein. As the credits roll, the creature burns himself along with Victor's remains, like in the movie, but I guess they couldn't openly state that's what's happening in the game. Otherwise, it's like saying, "Congratulations, you died!" Although its first level makes a wretched impression, this game isn't absurdly difficult, and its graphics and music are fine. But the controls are sluggish, figuring out where to go and what to do is more of a chore than it is fun, and it's disappointing that your character never gains much in terms of power or abilities. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein on Super Nintendo makes you realize the entire world is against you. Nature itself abhors your existence, and every moment of this unasked for life is suffering. In that regard, it's the truest version of this story ever told.
What a filthy job. Could be worse. How? Could be raining.